So welcome back to another video here in Pennsylvania. As you can tell by the title of the video, we're going to do a little bit of a review on some gear here today. Some gloves from Unigear. They're those heated gloves. I believe I showed them to you in a previous video, one of my mail time videos. And today's a good day to test them out. It's cold out here. I mean, not super cold, but it's been pretty warm, you know, winter-wise here in Pennsylvania, at least my part, for a little while. Back around Christmas time, it did get super cold, but and then in the coming several weeks, it looks pretty warm too, 40s and 50s. So today's gonna be the coldest day for a while. The computer said it was 30 degrees, but I think it's quite a bit less than that up here on the mountain. So I'm just up here on the Blue Mountain, hiking a section of the Appalachian Trail. I parked over at 645, Route 645, and I'm heading east towards Route 501, but I'm not gonna go all the way that far though. Just kind of out here once again, like I said, to test those heated gloves. But yeah, it's a chilly one. You can see the trees swaying in the wind up there. It's supposed to be like 20-mile-an-hour winds later today. We'll see what happens though. I don't plan on being out here when it gets that windy. So I'm gonna hike on for just a bit. I'm gonna find a place to take a little break, show you the gloves. I don't have them on yet. So I want to show them to you first, show you how they work. I got the batteries charged up last night. Figured out how the gloves work. There's a little button you gotta push to actually turn them on. And you wouldn't know where that button is unless you read the directions. Or I'll show you on this video too. But let's find a spot to do that. And then we'll get those gloves on and see how they work. Like I'm looking forward to having warmer hands. Although I mean, for me, if you're hiking for a while, your body and your hands do warm up. Looks like we could use a little trail maintenance up here. But actually, this might make a good place to have a seat and show you the gloves, show you how they work, and then start testing them out. I think we'll do that. So here's what they look like. Quite bigger than the gloves I have on. But let's take these flimsy cotton gloves off. Put these on. I mean, they're warm. I don't have the battery packs in or the heating elements in yet, and already they're, you know, a lot warmer than the gloves I was using. Not that there's nothing wrong with these, but yeah, these are warm already, and I don't even have them heated up. But they do have little battery packs that come with them, because I'll show you where these go in the gloves in a moment. Of course, it comes with your typical instruction manual too. And then it does come with a charging cord, USB chargeable, because it has, you know, the sun just came out in an interval. But yeah, USB chargeable. Of course, it has the smaller plug, but if you need the larger plug, you just pull the top off, and you have a larger USB plug. And of course, the cord then splits into two other plugs that actually plug into both battery packs. And if you want to know whether it's charged or not, like the charging light, there is a charging light right on the end of the charging port itself. Because when I was charging these up last night, I was looking on the batteries for, like, usually when they're charging, you know, there's a red charging light, and when they're charged up, it turns green. But it's actually on the plug itself that it shows red or green to let you know if the batteries are charged up fully or not. Alright, so let me show you how these work. Of course, you gotta get the battery packs inside the glove. So here's the back side of the glove. Hold it in my knees there. If you open it up, there is a little spot for a zipper right here. The zipper itself is actually kind of covered up with that little flap. Right there's the zipper. So I'm gonna go ahead and unzip that. So I've got it unzipped, and there's a little little plug that comes out. So there's a little pouch in there. So this plugs into the plug there on your battery pack. So I'm going to set my camera down and do that for you. And we'll stick this in the little pouch and do that with the other one. Start testing this out. So once again, here's the little pouch that you unzipper. Got the little plug. So you just plug the plug into the little battery pack. And then you can slide that whole thing back into that little pouch that's in there. It all fits in there nicely. So once it's back in, you can just zipper it shut. And then the battery pack is in there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with the other one. And I'll show you how to actually activate it. Because once you stick the battery pack in there, it's not actually on yet. So I'll get back to you. So once the battery packs are in, they don't automatically start heating the gloves. You actually have to turn them on. But this little logo right here is actually the button. So you hold it down for a bit. And then you see it turn slightly red. That means it's on. It's actually on high. You turn it, push it once. It turns more like a yellow colored light. If I actually put the camera on the light, that's medium, and you click it again, that's actually low, although it's not showing so well on the camera probably. But then if you want it to turn it off, you just hold it down for a couple seconds, lift your finger off, and the glove is off. So it's cool that they have adjustable settings, you know, high, medium, and low. Of course, when you have it on high, the batteries won't last as long. I think they last about 3 to 4 hours on high, and 6 hours and beyond if you just have them on low. And the gloves are waterproof as well. They're very durable. Like I said, they're warm just without having the heat on. Let me show you the waterproofness. I have some Propel here. I'll pour some Propel on the gloves. And then we'll get hiking. My hands are actually getting cold just sitting here blabbing to you guys about the gloves. We gotta get going, get these gloves on, test them out. Okay, let's pour a little bit of Propel on here for my bottle. You'll see they are waterproof. Water just runs right off of them. Yeah, so that's cool. Alright, so I do have them on now. I have them set to low. I'll tell you what though, it is a little bit harder to film with the thicker gloves on. That's why I usually wear like those thinner cotton gloves when I'm filming. Although my hands are cold initially on the hike, like, so they do warm up later. Alright, but these feel good though. So I'm gonna hike on for a little bit. Maybe I'll turn them up to medium. We'll see how low works first. And I'll talk about some of the applications for the gloves like this. Because to be honest, something like this could be a lifesaver in a way, or at least for your fingers in really cold temperatures. Not a bad idea to keep these along with you, even if you're wearing thinner gloves on a hike, just to have these with you in case things go bad on a hike on a really cold day. So gloves like this have other applications rather than just people doing like hiking and stuff. I feel like if you're doing like a stationary outdoor stuff, like if you're a hunter just sitting out in the woods on a cold day, a pair of heated gloves like this would be amazing. Or if you're someone that just works outside, driving equipment like on a farm tractor, forklift or backhoe, where you're not actually walking, because when you're moving a lot, hiking and stuff, your body does warm up. But if you're just sitting, either in the woods or on a piece of equipment somewhere, you're not building up that body heat. So to have a pair of heated gloves would just be amazing. I did bump these up to medium. You can feel the heat. So they have other applications beyond just, what you might think of as basic, outdoor activity, winter sports and things like that. And as I mentioned earlier, it'd be good just to have these along anyway. Because I remember there's times where your hands get so cold that you can barely like unzipper things or undo buttons. They're just so cold. And at that point, especially if you're in a bad situation outside somewhere where you actually need to use other equipment to set up a fire and stuff, but your hands are so cold that you're just like fumbling around and can't even use them right. Something like this could be a lifesaver, because you don't have to generate your own body heat to warm your hands up. You got these. And sometimes once your hands are warm, it can do wonders to actually help warm up the rest of your body sometimes. I mean, not completely, but it can just help. Yeah, the wind is definitely increasing. You can see the trees blowing around up there. I don't know if you can hear the sound of it either. So it's getting colder up here. But I've got my heated gloves on. Now, I'm just thinking of more applications for myself. Like I said, I often wear those thinner gloves, but on cold hikes, initially my hands are cold. It's difficult to film with cold hands, but like I said, after half hour or so or more, you start to warm up. But I might wear these. These would be something good to wear on the hike initially, and as your body, temperature warms up from all the physical activity, you could just switch to or I could just switch to the thinner gloves later. Because at some point, a thicker pair of gloves will get too warm if you're doing a lot of physical activity. Like I said earlier, if you're out on a cold day like this and not doing a lot of physical activity, then a pair of heated gloves would be just the thing. Alright, not sure how much further I'm going to go. I'm actually kind of enjoying myself out here a little bit. I wasn't actually too keen on coming out here today with all the cold and the wind, but now that I'm out here, I'm kind of having a good time. Plus, my hands are warm. So on a side note there, dressing for colder weather can make a hike or an outdoor activity all that much more enjoyable. I just realized too that these would be good for like a snowball fight or activities in the snow. They're waterproof and they're heated. If you ever tried to build snowmen or snow forts or have snowball fights with, well, I still have snowball fights sometimes, even with my students and stuff. If you wear like the regular gloves that are thin and not waterproof, they just get cold and wet, and so do your hands. So these would be good, fort building snowball gloves too. And to be honest, this is my first time using any kind of gear like this that has like heating elements to it. So I didn't quite know what to think or what I would think. I had really no prior experience with it. But to be honest with you, the more I have these on this cold windy day, the more I'm liking them. A little bit, like I said, a little bit more bulkier than what I usually wear, but it keeps your hands warm and comfortable. Well, that's a good thing. And just something else that I realized is kind of cool about these heated gloves. A regular pair of gloves, when you take them off and set them aside for a moment, because maybe you have to like tie your shoes, or for me working with my camera equipment, or maybe you're getting some food ready, or doing whatever, tying some knots for your tent or something. When you put your other gloves back on, they're cold. With these gloves, if you take them off and just leave the heating element on, because if you've had your gloves off for a while, your hands get cold. But these are like preheated. If you put them back on right away, or after you've been messing around with that stuff, it's just, they go into instant warmness. I just realized that several times as I was doing that here on the hike. So that's kind of cool too. So currently making my way back. Parking lot isn't too far from here. Like I said, just came out for a little bit of a stroll today on this cold day to test these gloves out. So that is an honest review from me. Unigear doesn't pay me to say nice things about their stuff. I mean, I do get some free gloves and other gear sometimes, but it's an honest review. I'm not gonna lie about a product or lie to you guys about something. If I don't like something, I'll let you know. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I wasn't so sure because I never tried anything like this before. These gloves are a little bit bigger and thicker than what I usually wear. Now that I actually am using them, have them on, I've been, using my camera equipment with them on too. Like, so I'm used to the thinner gloves, pushing buttons and flipping the screen open and stuff. I'm getting used to using these a little bit more. Yeah, so 100% honest review. I do think these are a good thing to have if you do a lot of cold outdoor activities. Even just something to keep in your backpack in case things turn out badly on your hike, or you get really cold, or say you in a situation where you get hurt and you can't move, you're physically inactive, you have some way of keeping your hands warm at least. Like an emergency situation, they could be useful as well. Alright folks, but I think that'll be it for me in this video. Once again, these are from Unigear. There will be a link down in the description to their website. I know I shared other stuff from them as well. Alright, as always folks though, thanks for coming along, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one.